Real ones with me, I know we gon' beat the odds. Counterfeit, guess it from the thought of it. People fake, think they need to start a kid. Tryna be real, this right here.
Huge thank you to today's sponsor, Giant Snacks. Giants is a small family-owned business that specializes in premium flavor and giant snack sizes.
From sunflower seeds, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, and cashews, Giants has all the great snacks you need.
Don't forget some of the great flavors that they offer between dill pickle and sweet Thai chili.
Or whatever craving you have.
Check out some of the newest flavors coming to a store near you this fall.
Big Easy cashews and Big Easy sunflower seeds.
Available soon online or at a store near you. Once again, huge thank you to Giant Snacks for sponsoring this podcast.
Now let's get back to the podcast.
All right, guys, welcome to the Beyond the Spotlight podcast hosted by myself. My name is Jack Johnson.
And my name is Aiden Hoff.
So this is our first episode here. We're just going to be interviewing each other. But before we get to that, I want to say thank you to Giant Seeds for being an amazing sponsor. Without you guys, none of this equipment would be here, and we wouldn't have been able to start this podcast.
Yes, thank you to Giant Seeds. It's awesome that they're able to provide the funds to be able to start this. Today, we're just going to do a little bit about each other. We're just going to talk about each other and just get to know us personally. We want the audience to know us individually. So then when we ask guests and have guests on in our future episodes, that you guys kind of know who we are.
We're also going to get down into why we started a podcast and what this podcast will be all about.
I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask Jack some questions, and then he's going to go off and talk about how he got into this podcast, his detailing business, and some other things. So tell us a little bit about your business.
In September of 2022, I had to take a class, or 2021, I had to take a class. And I was going through my classes for high school and found one that was a 0 hour so I could get some time off at the end of the day. So I just took it. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted to leave early. It was EO. The teacher for entrepreneurship opportunities, the teacher for it dropped the day before, resigned. So a new teacher, Justin Neppel, stepped in. You might be wondering why the heck I'm bringing that up, but it's because during this class, Justin, who is an entrepreneur, he's not a teacher, he's an entrepreneur, he took us to business interviews or business visits, you'd call it, like 4 days a week. We'd go to a business in Breckenridge, Wahpeton, and then use that Friday to work on our personal business plans. So we did that the whole school year. I landed on a few different business ideas. Wilkin County Waterfowl was the first one, which was just like a media page for my hunting at the time. And eventually moved on to cleaning cars during basketball. Didn't have time to have an actual job, so just did that. And then, use that as my prop or like business plan for the class. We had a event that we had to plan for the class and present our business plans to the community, whoever ended up showing up. And Dan Cutter was there, owner of Digital Guru. He ended up saying to me at the end, if you want to try this out, I got a spot for you. So I ended up renting out of here, and that's how we became friends. And I ended up working out of this beautiful shop. And from there, that was like May of 2022. Been cleaning cars for the last 2 years, enjoying it. Now we got Miles working on part-time and another guy who is also helping me with the exteriors. So it's been an awesome 2 years, and there's a lot of people who are who work with me, and I appreciate all my customers. So, yeah, that's a little bit of background about my detailing business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I met Jack really only about like 6 months ago. It really wasn't that long ago. And I met Jack. He was going into his second year of a what degree were you going into?
Business administration with a focus on marketing, sales, and hospitality.
Yeah, and when I figured that out, he brought up, "Hey, I own a detailing business." And I was really curious about it. He brought me in the shop, showed me around, and I was like, "Dude, you got this figured out. You have the marketing perfect, your prices are on point, everything's awesome. Are you going to continue it? Like, what's going to happen once you get out of... we only went... Or, not we. We're both going for a 2-year degree. So you only went for 2 years, graduated, and I was like, are you going to work for someone, or are you just going to try and continue this business? So talk a little bit about what went through your head. Were there companies that wanted you? Did you want to maybe work for someone? And why did you choose to continue this business?
So one goal that I have for myself is to not work for someone the rest of my life, which is going to be a hard goal to do. But as far as this business goes, I don't know what the future is, and that's why this will be really fun to continue to do this podcast over the next 6 months. Also, side note, guaranteed 26 episodes through February, so stay tuned every week, and then we'll keep going from there. But anyway, it'll be fun to kind of keep us updated as I figure that out, because I'm in this shop until next August, guaranteed, and then following that, I'm outgrowing it, you could say, just because I'm in here 7:30 till 6 p.m. and then now we have the podcast in here too, and I just don't want to be disruptive to the people that are in here full time. So it's either find a new shop from there or go try a different venture. But it'll be fun to kind of show as I go through the process, show that to the people watching and keep everybody updated.
So how has your degree helped you run your business? Because you have a management marketing degree. How has that helped you?
I think that I've definitely learned more through actually having the business than I did at the school. I had great teachers there and great classes. There was a few things that I really picked up, and I think it was worth it to go. One, because it was cheap. I lived at home, and now I have a college degree. But two, there was just some classes that I picked stuff up from, especially shout out to Joe Caveney. He had a sales class that we had to role play in and like actually go through, and he put us in really uncomfortable situations in front of people that we didn't know. And it was really, really good. Like it helped a lot, because now when I talk to customers, whether it's an awkward situation or like doesn't happen much, but if anybody is somewhat upset, like I can just talk through it with them and stay calm. And that just has helped me in life in general with talking to people too. But as far as specific classes that have helped, I had a QuickBooks class, which helped a lot. That sales class, like I said, a marketing class with Greg. And it actually did help quite a bit. But like I said, I think I could have gone without it, just learning as I go through this business. But I think it was worth it for me to go because of the circumstances.
One thing I would like to add is every so often I text Jack, call Jack, and I'm like, hey, how far are you scheduled out? Because there's two different parts of a detailing business. There's the actual cleaning, and then there's finding clients. And finding clients is that marketing side of things. And then there's the actual physical work of the detail. Both are very time consuming. And I asked Jack, I'm like, hey, how long are you scheduled out? And pretty much the answer every time is 1 month. And I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, you gotta raise your prices.
Yeah.
But he enjoys it, and he continues to create these relationships with customers, and that can be more important. That can be really important. So
yeah, and it's great having a booked schedule. It stinks when I'm talking to people and trying to book it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I'm out 3 weeks, and they're like, I need it done. So sometimes I'll just be able to fit them in, but that's where having miles comes into play. It's huge. Even though I have to pay miles, it's worth it because I get to do those extra 2-3 vehicles per week that I wouldn't have been able to do. And a lot of times it's for those people that wouldn't do it if it's out 3 weeks. They need it done, and then I just lose out on that completely. So having him, it has been huge for the business. So thanks, Miles. Legend.
Have you thought about growing it, and in which way? I mean, there's getting a different shop, there's moving to a different location. We've brought that up before. We're in a smaller town right now, and you do extremely well in this small town, but just imagine what you could do in a bigger city. Have you thought about moving to a bigger city, or have you thought about expanding, not necessarily only doing cars? What about boats?
I actually did my first boat like 3 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I told you that. Yeah, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Miles did not enjoy it, neither did I. It was not fun, I'll be honest. The guy was really nice, and he liked it. It was harder, definitely different from doing a vehicle, but it would be fun to move out to a spot over like by Ottertail and just focus on doing cars and boats, just because of the amount of opportunities to do boats out there. Like, there's I don't even know how many, but like 100 lakes within 20 miles or something. Obviously not quite that, but something crazy. And you know, you think about all the boats that are on those people's lake cabins, and you know, I don't know. There's so many opportunities out there. So there's that route. There's the route of staying in town and just doing what I'm doing, and then there's the route of like going up to a place like Fargo. I think that in order for me to grow, I need a partner in it that can kind of have that be their main focus too. So we can, I maybe take the business side, they take the day-to-day operations, having an employee too. And or in order to do that, we're going to need to have more cars in, obviously, because that's costs more to have more employees. And that's why I think a partner in it, someone who wants to grow the business and not just get paid hourly, would be huge to grow. But like I said, I don't know. It's so unknown what I'm actually going to do. But it'll be fun to go through it. I like business, and with this too, honestly, if I could find someone to take over the detailing and something like this takes a little bit more time, this is what I want to be doing. I want to be doing podcasting. And media in any form has always been fun for me. So, yeah.
What do you enjoy most about detailing, and what's not as fun?
You know, I like them brand new 2024 Chevy Silverados with 3,000 miles that come in. No, I would say my favorite part about it is getting a good reaction from the owner. When they're really happy with it, it's good because it makes me feel like my job was worth their money. And my least favorite part is just having those ones that just take you all day long. But those are sometimes the most fun transformations too. So there's two sides to that coin too. But honestly, it's all fine. You know, I can't complain too much. I love being my own boss. And now that I'm out of college, it's kind of a weird feeling now because this is it, you know. Like I'm at the point where I'm not going to school in 2 weeks. I'm in it. So it's gonna be fun to just keep trying to grow it.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed, I stop by and I'll look at some cars here and there, and it's not just a cleaning business. You don't just clean and wipe down things and vacuum. I look and I'm like, I can't even see a single rock, like a little pebble,
That's
you know,
awesome.
like a grain of sand. I can't even find that. And that's just really important when it comes to that sort of a business. Shout out his detailing business. Go follow it.
Thank you.
But they're so detailed. I mean, you really care about that product and your service and what you give to those. Still think you should raise your prices. But
I did I don't know, 6 months ago, you know, but I think that right now I'm sitting pretty good. I really do. And you know, it's all thanks to Miles too. Having him on, the quality has gotten better too because we're able to split our jobs into our jobs into like different duties, I guess you could say. Like I'm the carpet guy. I feel like every detailer that watches this is just gonna understand, like, you have a carpet guy and you have a plastic guy. It's like that's just how it works. And it has been awesome to see the transformation on these vehicles, having him a part of the team. So yeah.
Awesome. So you have this great business. Who helped you get there? What are the people, the important people in your life that have helped you get to where you're at? Because this stuff you can't just do it alone. What's really important is who helped you get there.
So it's funny, the people that helped me get there all want to come and get interviewed on this podcast. I hear it every single day. All my siblings and stuff like that, they're like, come interview me. So that's just a funny side note. But 100% I give, first of all glory to God for getting me to where I am. Without him, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I'm at. And then number two is, of course, you know, parents and siblings. You know, Mary especially too, and Sophie. Right away, those are the first cars I cleaned, and then their friends. But from there, it's like they share everything that I do on their social medias, and as well as just all my clients. Like, just everyone is so cool in this town, and like I can't be more thankful for the people that come in and bring it in monthly, bi-monthly, and so it's really a community thing. Like, it's not just my family, it's all my clients, and then Dan, especially Justin. Those two were huge. Without them, I wouldn't have had this either. So I honestly feel like God just kind of put this on me. I didn't really. I chose to do it. I could have just not gone through with this business, but the way it happened was so like seamless and like handed to me. The way it all came together. Obviously, that didn't come without work, but another thing too about my parents being there for me all the time. It's like, right when I first started there, that May going into that summer between my senior and then freshman year of college there, it was hard to convince my mom and dad to let me do this full time because of, she's like, you need to have all of June booked out or I'm like, she's not going to make me go get a job, but she's like, I wouldn't support it, And so it took a little bit of that. But then once I got it and sold her on that, like the support was crazy. And even with this, like my parents sat down and watched some of the stuff that we've already created, and they're just beyond supportive. And they're like just constantly, I can't wait to see where you end up. Like I'm going to be really proud of you, and I already am proud of you. And just the support from them, without them, I wouldn't be here either.
What different sports did you play?
In high school, I stopped playing football my freshman year. That was my last year I played. And, I'll pop a picture up on the screen right now. It's wild. I was like 5'2", a buck, like 100 pounds maybe. Like I was tiny. They had me listed like 5'9", 150. I'm like, dude, are you serious? It wasn't even close. But anyway, so I played football my freshman year and got outgrown by that. And then basketball is like my main thing. That was my sport in high school. And then I also ran track. I did the mile for that. But I was blessed to receive some cool awards my senior year personally. And then us as a team, that was a little bit different. We didn't do so hot. We were like I think we had like 4 wins. It was pretty rough my senior year, but so basketball is like more my main thing too. And then I ran track up until my junior year. I really wish I would have done it my senior year too, because I placed like 3rd in the section or something like subsection maybe, and then I made it to sections and then didn't go any further than that is what it was. But I do wish I would have came back and went my senior year. And if I could give any advice to any of you, Miles, I'm looking at you behind the camera too. I think that you should play those sports. It's not worth missing out on those memories with your friends to just go and do nothing after school. It depends. If you're going to work, if you have something else that you already have lined up, maybe, but if you're just going to be sitting at home doing nothing, just do the sport. It's good for you physically, it's good for you mentally, and you'll make friends and have really good memories. I wish I would have stuck with football too, even though I was a little shrimp at the time. You'll grow into your body and you'll be used, and that would have toughened me up a little bit too. But, at the end of the day, I got here because of the path that I took, and I wouldn't change anything. So I guess for myself, I can't say that, but for others, I would recommend staying in the sport. So, yeah.
So it's hard a little bit to talk about yourself, and when you ask me questions, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But this is how I see it, and I'm going to talk about Jack a little bit. He doesn't know this. This is not part of our plan, but I'm going to. Jack approached me with this podcast idea. It wasn't ours together. It was originally his. It was all his idea. And right away I was like, dude, I am busier than heck. How am I going to make time for this, right? But I saw Jack, and I saw his drive, and there's a reason he owns the detailing business. He can talk about things were easier for him, and the path he took was a little bit easier. But part of that's true, but part of that is he's put that work in himself. He has the drive to do it, the motivation. Not everyone is willing to not take a job and start a business. Not everyone is willing to do that at all. Imagine making someone coming up to you and say, hey, I'll pay you to do our marketing and business and help us, and I'll pay you $70,000 a year. That's a realistic thing up north here. That's a common, maybe not that amount of money, but $60,000 a year, whatever. Jack set all of that aside and decided to go after his dream, which is unbelievable. That is super cool. So I just want to say that is why I came onto the podcast is because I saw Jack's motivation, and I was like, that's what I want to help him out on this. So
Awesome, man. Well, I'm super stoked to have you on. I know you're one of those guys, if you say you're going to do something, you're going to get it done. And great talker, going to be a great interviewer. I'm really happy to have this partnership with you.
thank you.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to take over now, if you
All
don't
right.
mind me doing that.
Yep.
Just a little bit of background for everyone, how we met each other and everything like that. I'm dating Morgan Bruns. Shout out Morgan. She's the GOAT. She is cousins with Maya, and then Maya is dating Aiden. So I remember we met at Stavelli's, which is their grandparents' restaurant, for the first time.
Yep.
I was like, this guy's a goober. I was like, this guy's so... No, I didn't think that. But we ended up, I don't know why, but talking business, and I picked up that this kid knows what he's talking about. Like that night at Stavelli's, the stuff we were talking about, I knew. And we ended up getting in contact and having like hour-long phone calls just about business, and before we even had the podcast idea together. So it's been awesome to meet you and get to know you better, and then do this with you here. But during one of those conversations, you brought up how, you're a construction student and you want to have your own business. So tell me a little bit about how you got into that and what your drive is for that.
Yeah, so I'm a construction management student at NDSCS, and I'm going into my second year. And it all started about high school. I started building benches, chairs, cutting boards, and I was like, I really like woodworking. Then I got into construction. I started framing houses. And from there, I met various home builders who then taught me how to shingle a house, how to side a house, how to put installation in, how to put windows in, all that. And through them, it's like, man, this is what I want to do. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it still hasn't happened. But that's my dream. My dream is to own my own construction management business.
And have a podcast on the side.
And have a podcast on the side. That'd be great. But I'd love to be a general contractor and build custom homes. That is my dream, and that is my goal that I am slowly working towards.
So you're more going to be on the residential side than the commercial side?
In the beginning, it'll be easier to start on the residential side. It's pretty difficult to just start in commercial. It's pretty difficult to start as it is.
Yeah.
But I will start with the residential side for sure.
How far out are you hoping to be, like as far as starting your business goes?
I'm hoping to start my business right out of college. So
Okay.
I have 8 more months until this spring, and then sometime this spring, summer, I'd love to have a business in my name, and it'll be a general contracting business.
Located in Fargo?
Fargo, yep.
Nice. So as far as your construction business, are you going to have it be just like yourself? Are you going to have employees right away, or are you going to slowly grow it, or what are you thinking for that?
Right away, it'll be myself, but I'd love to have a custom homes business, so I'd like to have construction managers underneath me and then drafters as well. So then somebody could walk into the business and say, hey, I want to build a house. I want to build a custom home. And they can talk to my construction managers and the drafters can draft up a plan, and I can create the home that they dream and that they love.
Awesome. Okay, so I know you just got back from Louisiana for the summer. Tell me why you were down there.
A NASA internship.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I had an amazing opportunity for this. It got brought up by a friend, and they were like, hey, I see this opportunity for you. You should try it. Just apply. Just see if you can get it, right? And it's a NASA. It's not working directly for NASA. I was working for Syncom Space Services, S3, in Mississippi. I lived in Louisiana, but I worked in Mississippi at Stennis Space Center. And I was a construction management intern. So I applied, and I ended up getting it. And the competition was unreal. There was 4-year degrees. There was people going for even more for their 6 years, 7 years, whatever. And they took a 2-year construction management student. And I was going into my second year. And what I just want to prove from that is, like, you don't have to go to a crazy big college in order to get these opportunities. And when I got down there, I looked at everything and I was like, this is unbelievable. This is not building homes at all whatsoever.
Right. Yep.
But I was able to see actual rockets that will be going up into space. I was able to see a testing stand where you test an engine for a rocket. And I was able to work on some of those projects, which was amazing. And I had so much fun when I was down there. And I learned so much. It was truly an amazing experience.
Okay, I got two follow-up questions. First one is, do you think we actually landed on the moon after being there?
I don't know how public I can be on this. Looking at all the work that was put in, I do. But at the same time, because of the moon landing, NASA got a lot of money. A lot of money. And so, yeah, that's how I'm going to answer that question. I don't know how much I can say on it, but when I went down there and I saw how much work, how much money goes into these rockets, it is unbelievable. I mean, they put so much money into just the test of an engine, millions and millions of dollars, which it's all your guys' money, but yeah. But it is a lot of money that they put in. So it'd be hard to believe that they didn't land on the moon.
Right.
So.
You know, we're gonna have a lot of boomers. Shout out the boomers, but we're gonna have a lot of boomers that are hating on us now for even questioning it. You know what I mean? But another follow-up question: are aliens real? Did you see any aliens when you worked down there?
I didn't see any aliens. I do believe that there's life out there, but
somehow,
yeah,
I don't know. Do you see? You know, they had them those tapes that came out during COVID.
Oh yeah,
of like the UFOs and stuff, and who knows?
Yeah,
only
who knows?
God knows. You know,
there was no proof when I got down there.
Shucks, I just expected you to go down there, go to Area 51 right away. When you told me about it, I was like, dude, you're gonna be able to show me some pictures of aliens? Nope, nothing about that. But anyways, are you gonna plan on going back to there in the next, few years or whatever it may be?
I have the opportunity. I do. I got offered a job.
Oh, like full-time job?
Yes.
Awesome.
But I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And I don't. When I say that, the opportunity was amazing, and I would go down there. But my dream of owning a construction business has been on my mind forever. And I've wanted that. And it's a big sacrifice. I left my family, and it seems like it was just a summer, but it weighs on you a little bit. And I truly do think that I want to continue to pursue my dream of owning my own business.
You know, that really says a lot about how much you care about your business and your dream, because, there's probably not a lot of people that would say, I would rather work doing construction, owning a business, than work for NASA. Like, so that actually, it's kind of funny, but it's like at the same time, it's like that shows how passionate you are about this. So with that passion, there's no way that you can fail, So, we've talked about a lot of the future stuff and a lot of the present of what we're doing now, but I'll take it back a little bit. Tell me about some of your job experience, like in high school, or any projects that you had then.
So I mentioned I worked with different home builders and I've framed. But then additional to that, the year after I framed, I started my own pressure washing business. And it was only one summer, but I pressure washed garbage cans. And it's one of those TikToks you see, and it's like, it's like different ways to make money, right?
Yep.
And I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to try it. And a lot of people say they want to try different things, but they don't actually do it.
100%.
And I tried it. And let me tell you, I would suggest it big time. If you want to have a little side business, do it. I had a truck, a trailer, pressure washers, and one worker. And I was pressure washing a lot of garbage cans. And it seems silly, but it was all door to door, and it was a very good income. And luckily, at the end of all of it, I was still able to work with those customers because I had to leave for NASA. And so I was like, what should I do with all my customers? And so I was able to sell that business. I was able to sell the customers that I have created, which is really, really cool because it took me 3-4 months to build up that clientele, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But when I sold it, all of them were able to go to that other company. And so that just shows, like, you guys, if you have something, lawn mowing business, if you want to try something, just go after it and do it. The expenses for me were minimal. $400 pressure washer.
Right.
And
You pay it off pretty quick.
Yes, you can pay it off in less than 1 day.
Right.
So
That's awesome. Good for you. So something I wanted to touch on that you had said is like people say they want to do stuff and then they don't actually do it, kind of a thing, like with business ventures and stuff like that. That is not a person who I want to be, and who I don't think you want to be like that either. So that's a reason why I think that for us with this podcast, people are always going to say like, I'm going to go start a podcast. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about us and what we're doing. And same thing with detailing. It's like, you know, people have been in talks about starting detailing businesses, and there's other businesses in town, but I know how much work it is to get it started and to actually do it. And I don't think there's very many people that want to follow through with that, you know, because it kind of stinks getting a business up and running. So that's why I think that you and I, like going through this process, it's just going to work out nicely for us because we have that drive to get through, especially the beginning stages, because it has not been easy to get this far. So huge thank you to today's sponsor, Giant Snacks. Giants is a small family-owned business that specializes in premium flavor and giant snack sizes.
from sunflower seeds, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, and cashews, Giants has all the great snacks you need.
Don't forget some of the great flavors that they offer between dill pickle and sweet Thai chili.
Or whatever craving you have.
Check out some of the newest flavors coming to a store near you this fall.
Big Easy cashews and Big Easy sunflower seeds.
Available soon online or at a store near you. Once again, huge thank you to Giant Snacks for sponsoring this podcast.
Now let's get back to the podcast. That is true. That is true. One thing I want to add real quick with that, I went into college, and one of the first days, I went and talked to one of the head teachers at NDSCS, and I said, I want to start my own business. And you know what he told me? He said, everyone wants to start their own business. He said 80 to 100% of all construction management students want to own their own business in the first month of school. And then he said, by the end of the last year, that drops almost completely because they realize how hard it actually is.
Right.
And then I asked, how many construction management students start their own business right out of college with how many students they have? And the teacher said probably one every 5 years. And
Wow.
so what we were just talking about, that drive. People say they want to do things, but be a man of your word. If you're going to tell people that you're going to do it, go out there and do it. I don't care what people say. People are going to doubt. Prove them wrong, you know?
I love that. I think some people are just wired differently like that. Like, I was blessed to be wired with that. I want to grow something. It sounds kind of selfish, but I want to grow it for myself. I don't want to work for somebody and grow what they have going, which, you know, you need those type of people too. But for myself, I want to have my business and just grow that. So another thing I want to touch on with NDSCS, I know that you're the class president or student body president. Is that what it is?
Both.
Both interchangeable?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about how that came to be and why the heck you'd want to do something like that.
Yeah, so number one, any advice I want to give to anyone going into college, even going into high school, be involved. Be involved in any way, shape, or form, whether that's through a sport, whether that's through different clubs. I didn't start Senate until I got into college. That opportunity was there for me in high school, but I wasn't confident enough, and I didn't think I had the leadership skills. But I joined Senate my freshman year of college, and it's a 2-year school. So now I was able to actually get president of the school. But I have learned so much through Senate. I have learned the different ways to be a leader and different ways to talk to people, how to argue without arguing, you know? How do you have a conversation about politics, but you're not yelling at each other the whole time?
Yep.
I mean, those are huge. Sometimes when it comes to like politics and those things, silence is key. You know, if you can chillax, be calm about it, and not show that you're pressed and show that you're getting mad, you win the argument because they're like, oh, I want a reaction. And so just through Senate, I have learned a lot of life skills, and I want to take that and everything that I've learned and put it into my business. And so I am the NDSCS student body president, and it'll be fun. This is my first. This is the year that I'm doing it, so I haven't done much stuff yet, but I will have a lot of duties to do.
And you're starting up next week?
Yep.
Next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, yep.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that as we go through. You know, a lot of these interviews are going to be with guests, so there won't be much more talking about us after this episode. But, you know, there'll be things that we want to bring up that we maybe talk about at the beginning of the episode and just keep you guys updated on. So now we'll kind of get into our podcast, why we started it, and that kind of thing. So
this podcast has been a great opportunity for me, but it all started with Jack. So before I talk on it, I want Jack to explain to us why he started it, how long ago he wanted to start it, and then also just a little bit about what your vision is on this podcast.
this is like the most exciting thing about this podcast for me, or about this specific episode, is like explaining why and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I've been doing detailing for the last 2 years, listening to podcasts and I have my AirPods in the whole time, listening to podcasts for 6 hours a day when I actually have them in, and so like I said, I've always wanted to be in media or some sort of I don't want to be like an influencer, but I'd like to be in some sort of content creating position. So basically, for the last 2 years, I've been listening to podcasts every day while detailing, and I always thought it would be something fun to do. And I'm blessed with the opportunity right now to have connections with people who have a following and have been doing this content creation, so I get to learn from them. And I know that they would be down to come on and kind of share their experience and stuff like that too. And so a few months ago, I kind of started doing research about it and deciding if I actually want to go through with it or not, and talking with other friends and stuff like that. And I just decided I want to try it. I don't know what really made me flip that switch to just say I'm just going to go for it. I don't know what it was, but I started doing some research on what equipment I needed, how much it was going to cost, and I knew I was going to be a bit over my head with it without getting help from a brand. So I talked to Giant Snacks, and thank goodness that they were willing to partner with this, because without them, we wouldn't be here once again. And after I got partnered with them, I knew it was something we could actually do here. So I had a partner at the time, Alex Gill. We went through and ordered all of the equipment and just went for it. We did all the work needed. We made a business plan and all that kind of stuff, and got all of our equipment, did our test run, and basically that's how it happened. I mean, it really was just deciding to go for it and researching about it and just sending it. And now we're just kind of taking it day by day, trying different things and learning how to edit and learning how to actually put this out on Apple Music and Spotify and all that stuff. But I really do look forward to having a lot of fun guests on and interviewing and getting their backstory. So yeah, tell me a little bit about what you could see coming from this podcast and why you decided to join with me.
Yeah, so once again, Jack gave me this opportunity, and I really thought, what's the meaning behind the name Beyond the Spotlight? And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, should I do this or not? But then I was like, Beyond the Spotlight. That is an amazing name.
Thank you.
Yes, because you see these successful people, you see these actors, you see these people who own their own businesses, future guests that we have on this. And you just see the Instagram pictures, or you just see the success. You just see how much money they make. But you don't realize how much it took to get there. And that's what I think the true meaning behind this podcast is. I think that as we have guests come on, we can interview them. And let's say we're interviewing a football player. What did it take to get there? How many hours of practice do they do a day? And I think that's super important. So then people behind the screen who are watching can be like, I want to do that. How do I get there? So that's a really good part to this podcast, is the name. I want to know, how much time did it take you before you asked me?
Yeah, so I've been working on this for the last like 2 months, I would say. And just there's a lot of stuff that takes a lot of time. Like I said, I'm doing a full-time detailing business here, like 7 to 5. But I really, truly am passionate about this, and I putting in that, 4 hours every single night, 4 or 5 hours. And it's not like physical things, but I enjoy sitting on the computer and figuring out what I need to do next and writing lists and getting the list done for this podcast. So, it's pretty much every single waking hour, truly. I am thinking about it constantly, which I hope I don't get burned out. I really don't think I will because I'm so passionate about it. But it really is every waking hour I'm thinking about it. And then after work, I look forward to being able to go edit the podcast and do whatever is next on that list. So like I said, I've been doing it for the last 2 months and off and on. But the last month I've really grinded every single day after work, figuring out what to do, working on Saturdays. We had a filming day last weekend. So spoiler, guys, this wasn't the first one we filmed. We had to film one more before this. But we had a filming weekend where we came in on a Saturday and worked over about 12 hours. And, it doesn't feel like work. That's why I think I'm okay with putting in so much time, because it's so fun. I would do this for free. Well, right now we're paying to do it. Right now we're paying to do this, but I would do this for free, and I'm happy to pay what I need to right now. But yeah, so it's worth the time. It's worth the time that we're going to put into it.
Yeah. So the meaning behind this podcast, what our goals are, is to have a guest on pretty much every episode. We would love to have a guest every episode so you guys don't hear us talking the whole time. You hear a whole bunch of other people, a whole bunch of guests, and like I said earlier, what it takes to get to where they're at. There are some great guests coming on that we have coming up, and some in our head that we have coming up. Tell me about some of the guests without saying their names.
Sure.
But tell me about some of the guests that are coming on.
I'm going to say a couple of names that we have for sure coming on. But, we have a long list of dream guests and realistic guests. Looney's, Aiden Looney's, you guys can look forward to an episode with him. Tom Hare, and then Spicy Films will also be on with Looney's. So those guys will be great interviews. And, another thing about this podcast is we want to get beyond the spotlight with people who have all different types of backgrounds, but mostly in like the social media industry. But like I said, all types of different backgrounds. So we have 2 YouTubers coming on and then a principal of a Catholic school. So it really is going to be a little bit diverse there. That being said, we have, a music producer, potentially an NFL player. That one is already hooked up.
Potentially 2.
Potentially 2. Oh, yeah, potentially 2. That one would be crazy. Countless other YouTubers and stuff like that. But, I'm really, really excited for what the future holds for this. Also, Neil Jurley. We're going to be, hopefully, not guaranteed, but hopefully flying down to Tampa Bay this fall/winter and doing an interview with the owner of an app called Appy Hour. So, yeah, a lot of really, really fun, cool guests that we'll be able to talk to. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention, too, about a reason why I started this, because I want to have these fun conversations with people. I would love to do it without the cameras and microphones, too, but being able to make content out of it is just like a bonus, a huge bonus for us. So, yeah.
So those are some great guests we have coming up. But if you guys have any ideas of future guests or know people, reach out to us. If your parents own businesses, if your parents are quote unquote successful, you don't need to own a business to be considered successful. So we just want you guys to reach out to us, and we'd be willing to have guests come on.
And if you know us personally, just reach out to us via Instagram, Snapchat, text message, talk to us, obviously, or if you don't, comment down below. Another thing that I want to mention too is like, we know we don't expect this to get millions of views right away. That's just not expected, of course. And so we're just going to keep grinding slowly over these next 6 months, see what we can do, really give it our all. We're going to get there. We're going to put out content every single day. You guys will get content from these podcasts every day. New episodes every Monday. And we're just going to give it our all, see where we're at the end of this 6 months, and then reevaluate and go from there.
But those sponsors are huge. So once again, if you know people, if you know business owners, we would love to have you guys sponsor our videos. Giants has made this happen. We have a big commitment to this, and we have the drive, and we're going to continue to work.
So if you want to work with us, hit us up, our email and whatever it may be.
Yep.
But yeah, we really do look forward to this. This should be a really fun 6 months. So I want to talk a little bit about the set and some of the equipment that we got going on, just for fun. We really do got a real mixed bag of things here. We've got it all from different areas too. I want to give a thanks to Sebastian and Miles' grandparents for this coffee table. The plants. I bought that one off Facebook for $7. Bought this couch for $50. Like, we're finding our way around, trying to make it as cheap as possible. But any other ideas too that you guys think could make the set look better? Drop them down below. But for the most part, we got it all. We got it all cooking up here. Eventually, we'd like to be in a studio.
That'd be sweet.
A studio would be awesome. But obviously, there's nothing like that in the Twin Towns here. So we'd have to maybe move it up to Fargo. But
all right, guys, we've talked a lot about what we want in this podcast, and we think we got most points across. And so we're just going to mention one thing. If you've made it this far, that's awesome. That's what we ask for. But we're doing a little bit of a giveaway. So, Jack,
shut up.
Talk about that.
So we got these mugs here. It's nothing too crazy, but we just want to do something just for the first episode to give it out. We have white and black, whichever you'd prefer. So how to get entered into that giveaway is simple. You're going to go to our Instagram, Beyond the Spotlight Pod. There's going to be a photo of Aiden and I holding these mugs or cups. And all you have to do is like the post and comment like your favorite part of this podcast, or comment whatever you want. Whatever you comment, it's going to get entered, but preferably comment like your favorite part of this podcast that you got to hear.
Just a comment, dude?
That's all it takes.
Wow.
Just a comment.
Perfect.
This is great. Make sure you guys check out our different profile pages on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Also listen on Apple Music or Spotify, and there's different other resources you can listen to it as well, but those are the main ones. So make sure to check all that out. Stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking it out to the end. Once again, thank you to Giant Seeds. Without Giant Seeds, we would not be in business.
And with that, have a great day, everyone. Peace.
Peace.
Real ones with me, I know we gon' beat the odds. Counterfeit, guess it from the thought of it. People fake, think they need to start a kid.